We are glad to see each other this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Katie McQuage-Loukas, and my pronouns are she and hers. Tomorrow is the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs from September 15th to October 15th. And so we can thank our own folks with ACE for providing us with delicious breakfast tacos this morning. Yeah. I will always clap for breakfast tacos. Our roots and our story as Unitarians and Universalists are often told with reference to our European settler heritage, but we're a big tent. Just as our faith became more than Christianity, so too have we broadened to include other languages and other cultures. All too often, the broader movement does not fully incorporate the many cultures and gifts that are woven into the larger tapestry of our faith. Let this month be a reminder that multiple languages and cultures exist within Unitarian Universalism. We don't need to look outside ourselves. We make space for something that is already present so that it may bloom. Let my bravery and boldness in speaking my very dubious Spanish at this pulpit embolden you to be just as brave when we are all invited to say our covenant in Spanish later this morning. So let us begin again. Buenos dias. Bienvenidos a la iglesia. Whoever you are, quien quiera que seas, whomever you love, a quien ames, however you arrived today in body or mind or spirit, whether you're here in person or online, wherever you are on your journey, donde quiera que estés en tu viaje, you are welcome here. Bienvenidos aquí. If this is your first time or your 500th time, you are welcome here. Bienvenidos aquí. Our opening words this morning are from Reverend Marta Valentin. She's served churches in New Orleans and Massachusetts and Virginia, and she has served all kinds of roles on regional staff at the UUA and at Beacon Press. She's been a lot of places in our movement. And this is from her poetry collection. Entra aquí en el centro. Ven desde los márgenes, que aquí te consuelo. No mires atrás, ni a tu alrededor, el agua está subiendo. Siente mis brazos abrigándote, mientras tiembles. Yo te calentaré. No mires afuera, ni a la lejanía, que la vida está aquí entre tú y yo. En este espacio diminuto, donde yo termino y tú comienzas, vive la esperanza. En este precioso espacio pequeñito, no hay que susurrar palabras. I'm stumbling. I know, I'm doing really great. Diciéndonos que somos uno, tú y yo, formamos el círculo si los elegimos. Ven, acércate, te estoy esperando. Step into the center. Come in from the margins, I will hold you here. Don't look back or around, feel my arms, the water is rising. I will hold you as you tremble, I will warm you. Don't look out or away, life is in here between you and me. In this tiny space where I end and you begin, hope lives. In this precious tiny space, no words need be whispered to tell us we are one. You and I, we make the circle if we choose to. Come, step in, I am waiting for you. Come and let us worship together. Thank you.
Welcome. Buenos dias. I'm Verva Densmore, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. Cliff Grimm will light our chalice for us. When we light our chalice, everyone focuses on the flame. Yet it is the paraffin of the candle, the cotton of the wick, the potassium chloride and sulfur of the match, and the oxygen in the air around us that makes that flame possible. As congregants, we are called not to be a lone beacon or flame on top of the hill. Rather, we are meant to work together so that we might, together, shine. Please stand if you wish for our opening song, number 145, As Tranquil Streams. So on our worship calendar each week, Reverend Katie does a synopsis of what she wants to say in her sermon that week. And what she said about covenant, I think, is worth sharing with you. She says, covenant is the grounding of our communities and our faith. Instead of committing to a single common creed, we commit to each other in love. Our tradition lives through our recommitment, forever changing and growing as we change and grow. And part of that growth today is going to be including a reading in Spanish. And we will do the English version first and the Spanish version second. And CJ and Louis will come forward and help us with the Spanish. So please join me in saying our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Thank you. Before we get started with the covenant in Spanish, I wanted to thank our own BAUC group, Hispanics Advancing Culture and Education, or ACE. Keep in mind that in Spanish, the H is silent, but the E never is. So the correct pronunciation is ACE. Could everyone say that with me? ACE. Perfect. Hace is actually a conjugation of the word hacer, which is Spanish for to make or to do, as in to make peace or to do justice. So if you're asking why it's pronounced differently, remember it's in Spanish. Speaking of Spanish, to kick off our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, Luis is going to not only lead us in our covenant in Spanish, but help us refine our pronunciation line by line. He will speak a line and we will repeat it with him, call and response style. Got it? Take it away.
El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia.
El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia.
La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento.
La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento.
Y el servicio es su oración.
Y el servicio es su oración.
Vivir en paz en comunidad.
Vivir en paz, en comunidad.
Buscar el conocimiento en la libertad.
Buscar el conocimiento en la libertad.
Servir a la humanidad en fraternidad.
Servir a la humanidad en fraternidad.
Así es como pactamos entre nosotros.
Así es como pactamos entre nosotros.
Now let's say the whole thing together. It was not me, it was him. But this is gonna be the whole thing all together.
All together.
So, el amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es su oración. Vivir en paz, en comunidad, buscar el conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en fraternidad, así como pactamos entre nosotros. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
Thank you so much for leading us in that. You may have noticed some slight adjustments to the order of service. Gloria and I talked a lot about wanting to keep our kiddos with us for the candle time, that they could participate with us in the lighting of candles. So we are moving straight into that, and we'll get back to some other readings in a minute. I know there is a lot on our minds and on our hearts today, and there are too many things to name. Dwelling on specifics, trying to make a list would only leave some things out. It's one of those weeks. And so we light our red candle of community this morning to remind us that we are not alone, that we are part of something greater than ourselves, those of us here in this place, those of us who aren't present today but are connected to us in other ways, and the community beyond our walls, the larger ecosystem of which we are a part. Our white candle reminds us that the world beyond our walls is a broken one. As I light that candle, I ask you to recommit to building a world where all are free to flourish, free from fear, and to renew our commitment to joining in solidarity with all those around the globe and here at home who simply wish to live in peace. Let's hold a moment of silence for many of our losses this week here at home and abroad. May there become a world of peace and justice and community for us and for all. Even amid all the troubles in the larger world, we all have concerns of our own, our joys and our sorrows, our hopes and our worries, all those things that make up the fabric of our individual lives and the life of our gathered community. And even amid the troubles of the larger world, our own concerns are no less worthy of attention and care and sharing. Whatever you've brought in the door with you this week, whether that be a joy or a sorrow or something in between, or all of these things at once, I invite you to bring it forward so that we can share in it with you, so that we can witness it and witness you. If you would like a candle brought to you, please raise your hand. Come forward as you are moved. It's a meditation and a prayer from Julian Jamaica Soto called Spilling the Light from their collection, which is in the UA bookstore. It's very good. Please join with me in a spirit of prayer or meditation. Some people are used to keeping rules. Don't cross the street when the light is red, only sensible. It turns out that keeping rules isn't the same as keeping covenant, which asks us, instead of keeping a bright line, to keep our promises. To what have we promised ourselves? To this moment in time and place? To this community and even tenderly interconnected this planet? We promise ourselves to the idea that we are each and all human beings. We promise that there is something moving between us that we cannot tame and cannot measure. The chalice is a reminder that what flame we keep inside us cannot light the way. The light must spill to shine. The thing you must be is yourself, unadulterated, shedding the willingness to journey alone as though you are made of something hard and unforgivable. You are human. You belong. Right here, right now. And together we will chase away the sickness and the secrets and leave only the open possibility that the future is a space for growth. May it be so. Blessed be and amen. Our prayer and song is number 123, Spirit of Life. Hey, that sounds better. There's no lyrics on the screen because we lost track of that slide. So it is in your gray hymnal. It's number 123. I know many of you know it, but some of you don't. And I want to make sure that you have the words available to you. Please remain seated for number 123.
Good morning. My name is Gloria Miller, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church, and my pronouns are she and her. Can you imagine a school in which children attend once a week for an hour, attendance is optional, teachers volunteer on their day of rest, children have a variety of teachers, and teachers change the lesson plan to fit the community? The miracle of religious education is the volunteers who come to do a job and are transformed by the subject and the children. It's the enthusiasm of people working and learning together, and it's knowing that the children want to be here. It's knowing that many people give so much of their time and energy to lift up our community. An important symbol for the Jewish people is the menorah, which remembers a great miracle happened here. Perhaps our lighted chalice and the chalices that are in the children's classrooms should remind us that A great miracle happens here every Sunday. In gratitude for the miracle that is religious education, let us bless our teachers and our children and recognize that the year is beginning today in our religious education program.
The task of religious education is the work of a lifetime, and it is work for all of us. As we share our gratitude today with those who have given of themselves as guides and mentors on this journey of faith, we ask you to respond by saying, "It is my work, it is our work. Thank you for the gift of your presence." And those words are in the order of service. Should we ask teachers to?
Yes, please.
Would teachers like to stand so that people can put faces to you who may not know you? Splendid. It is important for our children to know they are cared for, to know they are part of a larger family, an important part of a bigger human picture. Please say with me, "It is my work, it is our work. Thank you for the gift of your presence."
It is important for our children to believe in themselves, to trust in themselves, to know that they can make a difference. Please say with me, "It is my work, it is our work. Thank you for the gift of your presence."
It is important for people of all ages to know our story, to carry our values into the world, and to live them in their daily lives. Please say with me, "It is my work, it is our work. Thank you for the gift of your presence."
It is important for all of us to actively grow our own faith, to be comfortable in their faith, and to respect the faith of others, to live with compassion, integrity, service, and joy. Please help me. It is my work, it is our work. Thank you for the gift of your presence. Thank you. At this time, the children and the teachers will recess to the RE wing. A new addition to this year is that we will be holding classes until 12:15. So we invite you to enjoy coffee if the service ends before that and fellowship, and then the teachers will open the door when the classes are finished and the children are ready to be picked up. Today's Keeper of the Flame is Jonas Eck.
To those of you who might be a little bit newer, normally we do have these things up on the screen because we know not everyone knows the words. That was our mistake this week, and I just wanted to make sure I named it because I know it can feel really awkward to think, well, gee, everybody else seems to know the words. No, we don't. We were doing our best, and we did pretty well, but we have a unison reading today. It is number 458. That is in the back of your gray hymnal, number 458. It is by Walter Royal Jones, who I knew nothing about until I chose this reading and decided to look him up. He was the chair of the UUA committee that redrafted our purposes and principles in the 1980s. At that time, feminists were demanding quite a few language changes, and so were humanists. A compromise hammered out before that during the merger had eliminated the name of Jesus, but still said that our principles were immemorially summarized in the Judeo-Christian heritage as love to God and love to man. In the 1970s, man was changed to humankind, but the feminists also pointed out that God was a rather patriarchal and singular term. And some other groups were also interested in making the change, and so, bless him, Jones took that on. And that must have been a whole lot of work in the 1980s. And that resulted in more or less what's hanging outside in the hallway, which is the prior version of our principles. So number 458, please join with me in reading in unison. Mindful of truth, ever exceeding our knowledge, and community ever exceeding our practice, reverently we covenant together, beginning with ourselves as we are, to share the strength of integrity and the heritage of the Spirit in the unending quest for wisdom and love.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. Our reading this morning is called The Prophetic Covenant and Social Concern by James Luther Adams. There is no such thing as a completely isolated being. Human beings are in relationship, and bonding is a characteristic feature of this relationship. Bonding is the development of attachment, loyalty, affection. It generates the collectives that function in history. In bonding, human beings develop a sense of the past and of the future, and even a philosophy of history. The concept of covenant was taken from the political realm and applied to the theological realm. It was the basis for the understanding of the relationship between humanity and God, of understanding the nature of ultimate reality in terms of bonding. A political metaphor, in contrast to a metaphor drawn from the interpersonal existence, has the broadest applicability. It interprets the whole human experience. Everybody is in the political order. The covenant of social responsibility is one that is rooted in a historical conception of human existence, and not merely in a conception of personal religion. Personal religion, though it may have its own uniqueness and insight, gains adequate meaning only in relationship to the larger, context of existence. The concept of the covenant is one of the great conceptual inventions of our ancient forebears for defining identity. We achieve authentic identity through an understanding of history, our place in institutions, and in the claim that this is precisely the essence of reality, of being itself, of God. The divine power liberates humanity through this sense of social responsibility and of dissent and criticism. The words of James Luther Adams.
The thing about being a Unitarian Universalist, particularly in the South, is we have to get used to fielding the big questions. If you don't have a shared belief system, what do you do? How does that actually work? What is religion if it's not about being personally saved or having a personal relationship with the divine? Not that many of us don't have personal relationships with the divine, but that's not what we're doing together. Partly what we do is more experiential than intellectual, so sometimes it's hard to come up with the snappy retort. You think you just gotta come, you just gotta feel it and experience to learn what it's like. We gather, we connect, we bind ourselves in community. We know what it feels like to do that. The word we use for our framework around how we gather is covenant. And that word goes in and out of fashion in Unitarian Universalism, and every UU community isn't going to use it. After all, there's no single thing that every UU community does anyway. Those European founders of ours, they made covenants when they founded their colonies here. They adjusted them, they rewrote them. James Luther Adams was a Euro-American minister in the last century. He found Unitarianism as a young man, and over the course of a very, very long career, he moved from humanism to returning to a form of theism, though not the personal religion of his youth. He didn't write a big book that explained all of his thinking, but he taught and he preached and he lectured enough for folks to gather all of those into books to try to put forth his coherent system of thought. He was deeply formed by witnessing the rise of fascism, spending time in Germany between the wars, and he was deeply concerned with how to build communities bound by something else, anything else. He thought a lot about civic life, about communal life, and religious life, and all of his thoughts on these things made a firm mark on entire generations of UU ministers as he taught, and he made his mark on the movement for a long time. Alice Blair Wesley, who I've seen in historical photos of this congregation, and some of you may know her, she's a bit more recent, and she was working in this century on ideas of covenant and community. She did a lot of the deep historical work, tracing our identity back to those old Puritan churches and the covenants they still carry forward to today. Our own covenant is an adapted form of a common one in UU congregations. There's a version of it in the back of the hymnal. We have revised it. We've made it ours. When we say it every week, we are committing to this particular community, and we say, this is who we are, and this is how we are together. We are a people of covenant, not creed. Our covenant stakes our claim to this moment in history, and it asserts our relationship to all those who came before us, and horizontally to all of those spread across the country and the world who are saying some version of some covenant that is connected, however tangentially, to our own. In his studies of nationalism, Benedict Anderson talks about imagined communities. Not the people you've met face to face, not your neighbors, but people with whom you share some form of identity. Maybe you share history or culture or language. To be a Texan is to identify with millions of people you will never know on the basis of some wholly artificial boundary of a river. But it does have meaning. It is real. Anderson was primarily working in the 19th and 20th century nationalist movements that were breaking away from older political groupings. Empires fell apart and nations were reforged around shared culture, around shared language. Nationalist movements were built around poetry and music, a shared history. All of these things are developed and constructed and given meaning by us. History can be taught in particular ways. Certain music, certain writing is canonized, and other music and writing is not. And so an identity is imagined and built and spread through mass media in a way that could not have been done in prior eras and times. This process enforced colonial narratives and colonial identities in ways both obvious and subtle. Of course, religious communities do this too, obviously. In fact, Catholic schooling was specifically founded so that Catholic kids didn't have to read the Protestant Bible because they were worried that their kids would be shaped differently if they were reading a different version in translation. It's not just catechisms and beliefs, it's the history, the culture, norms of behavior, the whole way of being. All of these things shape us into identities. Political identities are also forms of imagined community. Asian American doesn't describe a specific thing. It's not one culture, it's not one language, but it does describe overlapping similarities of experience and shared political goals. Hispanic means based in the Spanish language, but the way we use the word contains pieces, again, of political identity, of shared experience here in this particular place, this particular time, and in this arc of history. Queer communities are imaginaries, built on shared experiences. Musical genres are imagined communities. Fandoms are filled with people who will never meet face to face, but who share a common love. Sports fandom is especially an imagined community. Unitarian Universalism is an imagined community, one that we affirmatively choose and rebuild and reimagine every time we state our covenant. Our covenant is not a statement of faith, it is not a doctrine, but it is the thing that says this is who we are, this is what we teach, this is the people we wish to be. Just as 19th century nationalist movements formed around language, so too do we. Languages of love and service and fellowship, these aren't words you find in casual conversation on a street corner. Our usage of them affirms our religious identity and our particular belonging. To say them in Spanish affirms our commitment to pluralism and the belonging of others. It also affirms that I'm only a little bit afraid to look very silly in front of you. I'm not quite brave enough to try Arabic or Vietnamese or any of the other languages spoken in our immediate communities. But Spanish is a start at enfolding people who are present in this very room right now and have been for a long time, enfolding them into our covenant. Our covenant is not just the words themselves, but how we say them. Speaking from up here in the pulpit affirms that they belong here. It also affirms that those words belong in conversations about what is sacred. In a time when many of us are told we are less than, that our worth is not the same as the worth of other people, it matters what we say and how we say it and where we say it. So we say it in a church building, from the pulpit, we say it in English and in Spanish, and we say it in our actions and our deeds. This is living up to the promises of our covenant. We are a promise-making people. We are also at times a promise-breaking people, which is why we have to recommit to it again and again, because we are human and we will screw up, and we need to say it again every week to remind ourselves who we want to be. In a time when it seems that our social compacts are falling apart all around us, it matters that we are a people who commit to building and rebuilding social compacts. Anderson's imagined communities were responses to the decay of the political systems of their time, particularly the hierarchical and asymmetric ones. If I, a 19th century person, no longer belong to a king or an emperor with a divine right to rule, to whom do I belong? To my community, to the people who share identity with me, and the horizontal camaraderie of a nation state replaced vertical obligation. In this time and in this moment, if it is not clear that I belong to the body politic, if my community is not a nation, what is it? To whom do I belong? I belong to myself, of course. We all belong to ourselves, and we Unitarian Universalists are lovers of freedom and individualism. But we also know that we belong to each other, that we belong to this community that chooses to gather anew each week. I also belong to the wider community of my neighborhood, ultimately of humanity itself, and 1,000 circles that are formed and reformed as I live my life. It matters that our imagined community seeks to grow and change and transform. It matters that we commit to broadening our imaginations. If we believe in love and justice, amor y justicia, then we are called to stretch our imagined community until it can encompass all that is, a vision of beloved community that can hold everyone. That vision is, of course, utopian. Like the kingdom of God or any other phrase, it can't be fully realized. But we can build glimpses of it, little pockets here and there, bits and pieces that show not the world as it is, but as it could be. Excuse me. All these pockets of sanctuary we create offer affirmation and belonging to those who are in need of it, and all of this work is worth doing. All actions, no matter how small, that seek to build these foretastes of beloved community are necessary, especially in these times. A year ago, before the election, before the new levels in the tide of violence against those who are different in any way, and I say new levels because the violence itself is not new, but I do think it is increasingly public and increasingly chaotic. A year ago, I was thinking a lot about how we meet the moment, not trying to hold back changes because that needs everybody, and I'm not everybody, and even we are not everybody, but how to build something that would be enough. To build our piece, my piece of the beloved community for which I and we are responsible, and how to nurture it so that it could thrive amid adversity. Whether or not what we have done is enough is not something we're going to answer in real time. Only as we look back, as we construct and reconstruct our history, as we imagine our community, that's when we'll be able to figure out and discern how we responded now. Well, before a year ago, we did one of those surveys that we do from time to time about our top social justice issues. And some of the top ones were ones I totally expected: reproductive justice, climate justice, gun violence. And I know that some among us were disappointed that other issues did not rank as high, specifically around anti-racism and immigrant issues. And right now in this moment, our strongest justice work is happening in multiple projects supporting immigrant rights and in anti-authoritarian protest. It reminds me that as we regather and as we reimagine ourselves, we are perpetually responding to what is right in front of us. And when something changed, and we pivoted. We saw that one issue is in this moment the most necessary recipient of our time and resources, and we understood that we had to act to uphold the promises of our covenant. Again, we will not know in this moment if what we are doing is enough. We won't know that until the moment is long past. And we do know that we simply cannot juggle every possible need in these times. Climate work still matters, so does reproductive justice, and those things are ongoing even as we have pivoted to some of our other work. We just can't give 110% everywhere all the time. But every week, every month, every year, we can ask ourselves, what is the next thing we can do immediately to be who we proclaim ourselves to be? How can we uphold the promises we have made? We can ask ourselves, who is my neighbor right now in this moment, and follow that up with, how can I help? We can ask ourselves if we have imagined our community to be as inclusive and broad as it can possibly be, and then ask, what do we owe this community? Upholding those obligations, even when other social contracts are breaking and broken, is the truest expression of our commitment to covenant and to love. It is in itself an act of faith. Deeds, not creeds. A people who share promises and commitment to one another rather than sharing a singular doctrine. It is love that is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another. Amen, and blessed be. It is now time for our offering, and we are sharing the plate this week. Once a month, we share the plate with an organization that supports our values, and I am looking for Sonia, because I am going to invite her up here to talk about Casa Juan Diego. Do I not see you, Sonia? Oh. There you are. Come up. Just scanning the whole room, and you're right here in front of me. Come up and tell us about it.
First of all, I have to thank everybody who took part in preparing the breakfast this morning. There might be a little bit of food after the service, but the people that beat you to it really beat you to it. Because they really, really liked it. And the chefs, there were so many chefs. There was Ken Graham, Sean Bisbano, Evelyn Count, and it just goes on and on and on. And it was really fantastic. And Nathaniel right here in front. It was so good. And if you missed it, gee, I'm sorry, but you have another chance. November the 2nd, Day of the Dead. You have to come for that, so put it on your calendar, right? Okay. But today I want to talk about Casa Juan Diego. About 5 years ago, we did share the plate for Casa Juan Diego. It is a house, Casa, okay, Casa Juan Diego. It's named after the first indigenous saint of the Americas. So this is sort of a faith-based operation, okay? They started in 1980 with one house, and in that one house they helped as many people as they could. Their goal is to help immigrants, refugees, and the poor. And they have in those, how long has it been since 1980, 40 years? I guess so. It seems like yesterday to me, but I guess it has been 45 years or so. They now have 10 houses. They have a house for immigrant women with child care. Okay, they have a home for paralyzed and severely ill immigrants. They have a men's house for men that are seriously ill. They have a social services home. And they have a medical center. They have a medical clinic. And they have houses there where everybody who works at Casa Juan Diego lives. If you are, the doctors, of course, you have your own practice. The doctors volunteer. Everyone there is volunteers. Nobody draws a salary. They have a medical staff. They have doctors, nurses, technicians, pharmacists. They have dentists. And all the services that they provide are free, okay? But if you work there as part of the staff that helps on a day-to-day basis, you live in that house, you dedicate yourself to poverty for at least 1 year so that you can better identify with the people that you're helping. So this is a great organization. They receive no government, excuse me, I'm getting choked up because I think they're so good. They receive no government funding, which is a good thing, because look what happened to Catholic Charities when the government decided to pull their funds. They lost, 40% of their workforce. That won't happen with this group because they are funded strictly by volunteers, by our contributions. I think this is a very worthwhile organization. Another thing that's really different about this group, most organizations, if you need help, you make an appointment, you show up on the day, and then maybe a week or two later you might get what you want. With this group, you walk in, you tell them what you need. If they have it, it's yours. No questions asked, no record keeping, no nothing. You need a sack of potatoes, it's yours. You need a microwave oven, it's yours. And I know that because somebody in this church last time gave us a microwave oven to give to them. So whatever they have, if you need it, if you walk in and ask for it, it's yours. And I hope that you will think about all the people that need our help and all the people that will be needing our help in the not too distant future, because things aren't going to get better, I don't think. I wish I didn't have to say that, but that's really what I believe. If you're Hispanic, it's going to be tough. If you're an immigrant, it's going to be tough. If you're poor, it's going to be really tough. So when you make out your contribution today, please put, if you're doing a check, if you still do it old school like I do, put on there Casa Juan Diego, and they'll get, we'll share the plate with them. Thank you.
So sharing the plate means we split it half and half. So whatever you give in your usual way, be that in the plate or online or text to give, however you do it, half of it will go to Casa Juan Diego. And please give as generously as you are able.
Thank you all, and please join me now in the blessing of the offering. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. I was looking at the calendar this morning before I came in, and I realized that 23 years ago today, I walked in the doors of this church for the first time. And the announcements are going to tell you some of the ways you can keep coming back, because there's a lot going on here, and it's a wonderful place to call home. If you haven't registered for your child for Sunday religious education, please do that. Use the QR code on the screen and register. We ask that all children, members and visitors, be registered. It helps us group classes well. It helps support the teachers in understanding learning styles. And we know if you've given permission for photographs to be shared. And we're excited to start another year of faith, information, and connection. Join us Sunday, September 14th for Meet the Teacher after worship and parent orientation during family fellowship. That's today. So come today. And don't forget, Wednesday night, we're back. They're back. Bring your family and friends for a warm meal each Wednesday in Cockrell Hall. We rely on volunteers to keep these meals going, so if you'd like to help, sign up for cooking, for prep, for serving, to help with cleanup, use the QR code and reach out and help. After dinner on Wednesdays, join us in the sanctuary at 6:30 for Vespers, a quiet time of candle lighting, reflection, and meditation, a midweek chance to pause, recharge, and nourish your spirit. If you're curious about pagan spirituality, Bay Area Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans meet this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the sanctuary. They gather on the first and third Thursdays each month to celebrate the cycles of the seasons, and everyone is welcome. Please stay after the service today for coffee and fellowship in Cockrell Hall. Sounds fabulous. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanics Advancing Culture and Education will be providing light snacks. I can smell it. It smells so good. We always welcome volunteers to bring snacks to help with setup. Just scan the QR code on the screen or sign up in Cockrell Hall. And at 12:30, families are invited to the Family Fellowship potluck. Even if you didn't bring a dish, please come anyway. There will be plenty of food for everyone. Enjoy time together while the kids play, and hear from Gloria Miller and our teaching team about this year's religious education program. And a reminder, Buddhist meditation meets at 3:30 instead of 4 o'clock during September and part of October. So check the calendar and the weekly email for specific dates. That weekly email tells you a lot. And if you want to stay connected here, use the QR code on the screen to sign up to receive that email, or you can go to bauuc.org and sign up. But get informed all the time. And now, please stand in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 299, Make Channels the Streams of Love.
May that peace which passes all understanding keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge of love. And may that peace be yours in the week to come and always. Que esa paz que sobrepasa todo entendimiento cuidara sus corazones y sus pensamientos en el conocimiento del amor. Que esa paz sea suya en la semana que viene y siempre. Paz. Go in peace and blessed be.